everyone's got a brain, and we all really want to make it fitter.
And concentrating on things that are good and the positives. So doing more things that make you feel good. You start to get fitter.
So that's how you get brain fit.
Like, essentially in PT, that is it.
Yeah. I don't know whether they think we're going to read their mind or control it. It's like, oh, you don't want to know what's going on up there.
Yeah.
It's like, and we've got this weird relationship with our brains.
We get stress or something stresses us out. Like, how quick are you able to get the control back, sort of let it go and sort of refocus, you know? Like,
Episode 1. Whose fault is that?
silence.
Whose idea?
I know we did really well until the
Just stop
clapper went.
talking. And
Whose
then...
idea was this podcast?
While you're doing it, just remember how far away you are from your mic.
Okay.
So it should be like there. Yeah.
Which is good. That's what we want, but just remember that
I'll be
the further away you get,
holding it. Or takeaways at the end as well.
Or
So
like
it's all very
from
formal.
what we've chatted. What we've chatted about.
So very unlike any meeting that we normally have, basically.
Yeah.
It just rolls into
We'll
the
give
next
it
one.
more structure than our daily meetings.
That was a great chat, but what was the point? So, which is why we're here, just to have a great chat, I think. Do you do karaoke? This is
I have done.
is
I
singing
wouldn't
good for
really
the brain?
Depends if you're the listener of me singing or not. Like, I don't think it'd be good for your brain to hear me singing, but I'd be having a good time.
That's
so
a subject.
I'd
Subject for another future podcast. Is Emily singing good for the brain?
Yeah. I think I know the answer to that already, but I think there is there's lots of. I think it's good, isn't it? Like, imagine when you go to football as well, and all the big stadiums, and everyone's like, so when you're singing all together.
Yeah.
Like, I know there's more about that than just singing, but you know.
We are immediately off track.
It's going.
Give us an overview. This is the first BrainBuzz podcast. Give us an introduction. What made you decide to do this?
The inaugural, well, that was my question. I can't remember whose idea it was to do a BrainBuzz, as it's now called, podcast. I think it stemmed from the fact that most of our online meetings just descend into great chats about brain fitness, about performance, all that good stuff. And we thought we might as well turn it into a podcast. It's just waste time on calls that were meant to be productive.
Just an extended meeting
weirdly,
today.
this podcast is going to be more structured and more productive than our usual meetings. Hopefully, that's the idea.
We'll take some learnings away from today.
Let's see.
Yeah.
So every single meeting in the future needs to be a podcast. Basically, that's the idea. So this, the first one, episode 1. I love the clipboard. I love we could have just done this.
Makes it
Walking
official.
around the streets, couldn't we? But this looks professional. Reflects our ambition.
Yeah, but we need to live up to that standard now.
Exactly. Yeah. With that, I'll stop talking. But I suppose, why are we here? Brain fitness. It wasn't brain fitness originally for FC Labs. It was fatigue in high risk environments and people wearing hard hats and all of that. I was the hard hat guy. And that, it didn't fit right. It's funny, even back then, it was more than just fatigue and the risk of making a mistake, of not paying attention, of not being focused. It was more than that.
Yeah.
I just didn't really know it.
Yeah.
And I think brain fitness, the term, Andy, you remember from Stack, a little name check for Stack.
Yeah, it was actually,
Joe, I can't remember her surname, that's terrible. She was great on the mission, the vision, the values, those workshops.
Joe with the ideas.
It's a good job she didn't copyright brain fitness. We'd be absolutely buggered in terms of royalties. But that's where it came from. It's brain fitness. We were trying to find another term, another word that wasn't mental health, because mental health, even mental well-being, anything with mental in the word, it seems to be so loaded. There's so much stigma, and when you're trying to make it normal, make it accessible, make it acceptable, that word, that phrase just instantly puts those barriers up, doesn't it? So brain fitness is where we're at, but it's particularly over the last year, working with you, Emily, it's really started to grow. So what does brain fitness mean to you guys? What's
Well, just off the back of what you're just saying there about mental health and that, like, I think the world's just ready for something different, right? Like, as good as it is to be talking about your mental health compared to if you think about 30 years ago, it's come on great, but I think like, yeah, it was just ready for something they feel like you can control and feels like, you know, I can improve this, you know, this feels good. So what brain fitness is essentially, to me, I treat it the best way for me to make sense of it. And I think this is going to change over the next few years, isn't it? We're constantly talking about what brain fitness is, but it helps me to make sense of it by thinking of my physical fitness and sort of just using that sort of model, if you like, of what physical fitness is. So if you think of if someone's physically fit, sort of, I picture like running like an obstacle race. Like if you're physically fit, you can go over the obstacles, you know, like you're looking at the obstacles, you're not even bothered because you're confident in what your body can do. Like you can go over them, you're not wasting too much energy, doesn't take too much effort to go over these obstacles, and you're keeping the momentum going. If new things are coming, you can sort of weave round and use all your skills and abilities without wasting your energy, and you're keeping that forward momentum going. So I sort of use that sort of image, like if I was physically unfit, I wouldn't be able to sort of run on the obstacles, and I'd probably get stuck on the obstacles and think, well, I can't even face this. And so we're just stuck with not much forward momentum, or I'd give it a try and maybe get injured, you know. So I sort of use that in my own head to then sort of apply that to brain fitness and like how we go about our life. You know, if we're wanting to generally move forward, and life is full of demands and obstacles that go, like the environment is constantly changing. So we have to be fit, like to not only sort of cope with them, so they don't we're not carrying like the extra weight on our back that's going to cause a drag. So we want to be fit, so we're not carrying extra weight, but also sort of confident that we can go over the obstacles. And also, you know, when we're really brain fit, it's like, yeah, bring them on. Like, I don't care because I know where I'm going. And I've gone over many obstacles before, so and I just get tougher and better as a result of it. So we don't fear the obstacles. So that's really like that. So that's sort of how I think about it. But also, energy plays a part. So if you're running it depends on if you're running a race, you need to sort of keep yourself fueled up, so that you're able to perform. So yeah, to answer your question in a long way, like I think of the physical fitness, like that helps me to sort of make sense and apply it to brain fitness and how we could meet the demands of life. Yeah.
It's strength and resilience, isn't it? And ultimately about performance, but performance is a scale. This seems to be a real sort of topic for me at the moment, even sort of out with FC Labs and talking to like other startup founders, and particularly in Scotland, where we've got this challenge people identify of not a lack of ambition, but a different view of ambition, and thinking big to that you find elsewhere in the world, the US or places like Estonia and so on. And I think that I keep coming back to it. And again, I think because it's front of mind for me, it just pretty much dominates every conversation. Yeah. It's a bit like when you talk to other startup founders, it doesn't take long and you're talking about fundraising, you're talking about investment, because that's just the single biggest thing. And again, it's underpinned by ambition and thinking big, and the performance that's demanded of that as well, actually, because like what we're doing, we're ambitious. We've got a big goal and we need to be able to perform at that. Yeah. And I think for me, it's all about a choice, and it's about clarity and control and making decisions, and the bravery as well to act on them. So deciding this is what I want to achieve, but having the clarity, not just because society's telling you it's a good thing or you think it looks cool. It's having that clarity of that actually is going to make me happy.
Making a proper assessment of actually what it is. Are you climbing Mount Everest? Are you climbing Everest? Great if you want to do that. Brilliant. We'll make sure you've got all the kit you need, and also it ain't going to happen in one day, is it? So we sort of need to stop, and so it's that like, if it's great being ambitious, but we really need to then sort of rest where we can and stop, so it's because otherwise we're not going to constantly be walking every day up Mount Everest. So it's that like, what is, like you say, what is it? What's the challenge? And like, how am I feeling towards it? Like, man, I can do this. Like that's, or is it?
And just being able, if you can measure it, you can manage it. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Yeah. Andy, what's your thoughts on brain fitness?
Well, I think linked into where you're saying the origin of BrainFit and that idea was compared to a lot of other terms which got a lot of stigma around it. Brain fitness links up with FC Lab's ambition because everyone's got a brain and we all really want to make it fitter. So it kind of links in. And then you're saying there about wanting to climb Mount Everest, and maybe some people do want to climb Mount Everest, but I reckon other people, maybe you've not had a great start of the year and you don't feel like climbing Mount Everest, but there's still little things that you can put in place to improve your brain fitness just one step at a time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Makes it normal.
Yeah,
Makes
absolutely. Absolutely. It's all like this idea of like you can measure it and you can improve it. You know, if you want to get your brain fitter, meaning sort of generally speak, I mean, we've talked about what this means. But if you want to sort of feel good about your brain, essentially, you know, like if you are, I keep going back to the physical sense, but if we're fit, I feel good in my body, right? Like my body's in good shape. Like I feel good about it. So if you want to feel good about your brain, like you're coping, you're generally positive and feeling good.
Yeah, and I think as
that's
well,
something you can improve on. You know, if you're in a space where your brain isn't a good place to be, it's not sort of working for you. Things are a drag, and I feel like it's so much. I find so much nicer to think, okay, just sort of my brain's a bit out of shape at the minute, you know, for whatever reason, and I can do something about that.
I think there's something in there that's worth chatting about because so today, well, like, I'm knackered. I think you're pretty tired. It's like we all got up quite early. I'm brain FFKT'd. And that's so that is how I'm feeling right now today because I'm tired, but actually my brain fitness dictates whether that's going to really give me a downer today and it's going to be a rubbish day, and my brain fitness is more a longer term thing. So actually the last few weeks I've been pretty decent with my brain fitness, so today is going to be a better day, whereas if my brain fitness was on the floor, then today would be
really, really hard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's that analogy with the physical fitness and performance. It's just exact, isn't it? I mean, it's exactly the same. Your brain fitness makes you better able to perform even when there's challenges or you've chosen to take on certain challenges. So you can train to do specific things. You can train to improve your brain fitness just for general life and the challenges that life and work might throw at you, or if you want to take on something specific. And it's just like running. So if you like running, but you just like doing a quick jog around the block or something, or even if you just like doing 10,000 steps a day and you're tracking it with your Fitbit, you might want to do a 5K or a park run, or you start to measure your times and track your PBs. You maybe want to do a marathon at some point, or maybe you want to be a world champion or an Olympian. It's all different levels. Again, it's ambition. It's the performance that you need to do that. It's the training you have to put in to achieve that particular thing. And some of it might not be something you can maintain for a long period of time. I imagine you couldn't train at the level and perform at the level to compete in the Olympics for years and years and years. It would be bad for you. Same as running a startup, actually. If you tried to do it for years and years and years. Just seemed like a long time though. But it would be bad for you because there's things that you're building your brain fitness to cope with so you can perform, but you are, I don't know what would you describe it as, kind of stretching or pushing yourself in the same way that you might do physically if you're trying to do, I don't know, run a marathon a month for 12 months. Might be achievable, but you probably wouldn't want to do that for 5 years. It just seems to make so much sense. And it's funny how it's all sort of slotted into place a little bit over the last few months, I think.
I think it's a nice idea. I think just get people just thinking about it a little bit, like a bit more conscious about it, you know, whether like if it's up to you, if you want to train and be like the best version of yourself, which to me, like I hear that term so much and it doesn't sort of, I instantly sort of just think, oh, I don't want to be the best, like I'm all right. Just, you know, like just as I am, like I don't want to be the best version. That sounds like a lot of effort.
Do you like that phrase?
No, I don't, because to me it just feels like a lot of effort. I can't be bothered. Like I just think I'm all right. Like I just want to and people don't need to be the best version. Like really, if that's your goal, great, we can help you with that. But actually, just putting it on the radar is something you think about. Like, so again, like if you're wanting to lose weight, like and you're overweight, great if that's your goal. And also, but you're gonna have to really put a lot of effort into thinking about what's going in your mouth, and it's going to be top priority, and you've got to really think hard and be disciplined, and you'll get the outcomes. But actually, the majority of people, if you just put a little bit of conscious thought into it, like you'll be reasonably healthy and fit. Like, you know, it's from like, you know, we might be overweight because we haven't really sort of given it much thought, and, you know, so sort of eating, not really sort of thinking about what we're putting in our mouth, or it's not, you know, and so that's sort of the outcome we get. With the same with the brain, if you're not really thinking about the sort of things we're telling ourselves, and we're just sort of consuming all this negativity, like it's junk, like it's been Kit Kat, it's so you know, it's so it's like, let me go on the news and read all this negativity, let me go on the social media and compare myself to all these people, and you think about all this negativity you're consuming, like if you're not really sort of thinking, oh, okay, that's not great for my brain, like, so I need to put a bit of conscious effort into, you know, concentrating on things that are good and the positives, like that. Even just by doing that, like, you start to get fitter, like just by thinking about it a little bit. That, you know, it's just like you would with your physical self. If you just start thinking, okay, I'm going to start eating a bit healthier, I don't have to stick to a meal plan, and the weight will start coming off. So say with the brain, like, and this is where measuring it comes in. Like, if you're just thinking about it and measuring it, like, you will start to see outcomes just by having it. Like,
and it's again, it fits in with you're prioritizing your brain health, your brain fitness, and it's just a nice other different way of looking at it. You don't need to by prioritizing your brain fitness and what is actually affecting your brain. A lot of the things we've learned over the last few decades, it's new knowledge, and we can actually start prioritizing this, and nobody does yet actually it, and it's such an important thing. The brain is the one thing that is dictating everything that we do every day, and we'd not really given the tools when we grew up to actually know how to deal with it properly. So.
One of the things I really like about the way we approach things is it's just about changes within yourself. You're not competing against anybody, and that's that. There's a whole host of reasons why I'm not a massive fan of that. Be the best version of yourself kind of thing, and
it's so subjective, isn't it?
It just seems a bit woo-woo and a bit kind of. It just. I'm trying to think of a polite term for it.
Well, you're kind of thinking, well, what does everyone else think is the best version of me?
No, we are. We can bleep it.
Do it for yourself.
No. We can bleep it.
No, I have this term to myself, but like, am I allowed to say it?
Yeah. No,
but like, just
we've
things
got the amazing technology of the Coolbox team.
You're going to be taken off the BBC.
Well-being wankers, basically. Like, basically people
that was the word I was going to use.
Chuck her out.
Just basically all the... Whenever I see something like that, it's just sort of telling me, like, I don't know, go and get up at 5 a.m. and go in a cold bath, and, you know, I just think it's just...
knocked your microphone out. There. It can't cope.
It can't cope. Sorry.
Can edit that out.
But yeah, just got stuff to do. We've all, a lot of people are either raising kids or looking after people that they're working. We're trying our best, right? And then we have another professional going, like, you know, dentists will think you need to prioritise your teeth, right? Like, opticians will tell you, like, your eyes are important. So, like, we could listen to them or not. Like, it's up to us, you know, like, as people. So, but we know how important your brain is, and we know you can measure it. So we like. At the minute, people don't know that is an option.
Yeah,
you know?
and we're definitely biased, but we're right, yeah, basically. But I'm talking for everyone here. But like, from my point of view, if you're told to look after your teeth, if your brain is FKT, then you're not going to be able to look after your teeth. So you need to get that in order first to be able to do everything else.
Absolutely, yeah.
I wanted to bring up another thing, because we've mentioned it probably a few thousand times already, the brain. And when I was growing up, I used to faint at the sight of blood, actually. So brains were like yucky and horrible, and I couldn't cope with it. And things have changed. I like to think I've matured over the last few years. And but I know that a lot of people listening to this will have that same feeling of, like, it is a weird thing, especially when you start kind of thinking about it. We're talking about this thing that's this in darkness up there that actually controls everything. 95% of it is unconscious as well, and but it's really important for us to feel comfortable with it and take control over it. I was wondering what you feel about that.
Well, just as you were talking, and it just got me thinking. I think, like, there's a bit of fear. I think, like, you know, I don't want to know what's going on in my brain. You know, I think, like, I imagine that's would be a normal response is like, I'd rather not know, thanks, But
everybody always says that, actually.
Yeah.
When you say we can give you insights into your brain fitness and performance, it's instantly go to, I don't know whether they think we're going to read their mind or control it. It's like, oh, you don't want to know what's going on up there.
Yeah.
It's like, and we've got this weird relationship with our brains and not even that, just our kind of cognitive selves in a way, if that's a phrase. It's just like, and again, all of these things, I'm mental, me, and all this kind of thing.
But it's like if you were when you're driving a car, like the environment's constantly changing, you need to know like how much fuel you got in your car. You need to know like if there's a puncture in your like if a light comes up on the dashboard, you like in order to be safe and fit to drive, you need to listen to the alarms going off. So you need to have this data. Like it's sort of the same with the brain. Otherwise, we're going to be dangerous to drive, right? There could, if you want to, it's about being fit to be sort of out in the world as well, isn't it? And not only sort of meet the demands, but, so if you've got no fuel in the tank and like that back tire is like punctured and it's there's your oil lights going off and you're sort of on the phone whilst the traffic lights have gone, you're not paying attention, like you're going to have a crash, So yeah, I went off track there, but like point being is like we're not seeing into the brain, we're just giving data, or like actually your fuel tank might be running a bit low, or like just stuff like that. Just is sort of like, it's not even sort of warning signs. It's just like you're just knowing what's going on, so you can make better decisions. Or maybe I won't do that long drive today, or maybe I can. I like fuels or the tank. I'm feeling good, ready to go. Or I know there's a fuel stop here. It's sort of being able to make better decisions and plan for the day, so that the drive is nicer.
That's the thing. I always, when people ask, it's the thing I sum it all up with, if you like, is that you just feel more in control.
Yeah.
In a number of different ways, because you've got data, you feel better able to manage it in the same way that if you can measure your sleep or your steps, or then you can give yourself targets, or somebody else will give you targets. So it's this whole thing, if you can measure it, you can manage it. But I think, again, being brain fit is about being in control. Like you say, you make better decisions, you're more conscious of how you respond. This idea of, and you'll be far better to talk about this than me, Emily, but the prefrontal cortex and the primitive brain, without wanting to turn this into some sort of scientific podcast, but it just makes so much sense, and you feel it. It's really noticeable. I think as your brain fitness builds, and you just feel like you're more conscious, you are more in control of how you respond to certain things, which otherwise, I was using an example of, we've got a dog and a couple of cats now, and they can sometimes be a pain in the ass. They might, I don't know, knock something off of the counter, like a glass, and it'll smash. And if you're stressed or you're tired, and that tiny little thing can just set you off, push you over the edge, as people would say. But if you're brain fit, you choose to respond in a much more positive, mature kind of way.
Absolutely, definitely much more likely to respond. But also to talk a lot about this idea of like when you're fitter physically, like your body's sort of better to sort of get rid of lactic acid, so you could sort of run for longer or whatever before you get tired. Like, so with the brain, it's the idea of, it's not about always having to be calm, but actually once we get stressed or something stresses us out, like how quick are you able to sort of flush out that excess cortisol, get the control back, sort of let it go and sort of refocus, like that. And the idea is that the fitter we are, the quicker we're able to just return back to that state of like being in control, so that we're not, so then in the next moment we're not sort of carrying that on to the next moment, we're just sort of back to sort of in control again, and it's sort of that idea of the fitter you are, the quicker you sort of bounce back. I really like that idea because this idea of having to sort of be calm and in control the whole time is a stressful idea. I just think like, I can't do it. Like, we've got 3 young boys and like they're really stressful. But actually, that's a subconscious reaction. Something stresses you out. Like you can't, like that happens. But they think there's a 90-second rule it takes for that stress response to occur, and then it sort of all get flushed out. Then anything after that, you're choosing to keep that going yourself by the way you're sort of looking at the situation. So it's like once that situation sort of happened and you've flared up and you've had the reaction, how quick can you calm down and like let it go and refocus, you know? And that sort of ability to sort of reset is sort of a pillar of brain fitness.
That resetting word.
Yeah.
We were talking about this a couple of weeks or so ago, and resetting the brain to where, and I don't know if this is right, but to where it wants to be or where it should be, perhaps. And this idea that we've many of us in this modern world, the brain's just not kind of built for the modern world in many ways. So we are constantly in that fight or flight state, which is kind of primitive brain. And again, you can go into the psychology of it a bit more if we want to. If we've got time, we probably haven't. But
I think we'll
tune in next time.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be doing that in another episode.
But it's this idea that if you're in that fight or flight, you're looking. The brain, primitive brain, is looking for those negatives. It's looking for the things it thinks are going to kill you. Which they're not. I mean, there's clearly no saber-toothed tigers around anymore. I don't think. Anyway, but there are other things which aren't good for us, which it thinks are going to kill us. So, and you get to that stage where, again, the brain's telling you the world is a flipping scary place. Let's just stay in bed, and then it's into the sort of realms of mental illness and real problems. And being in control again is putting it back to the prefrontal cortex that chooses how to respond and focuses more on the positives. You're still aware of negatives, I think, aren't you? But you choose how to respond to them and don't prioritize them as much. Is that?
Yeah, I think there's a real focus with the brain fitness PT that I do that we're leading on, is a real focus on feeling good. You know, doing more things that make you feel good. And these brain boosts, this idea of through the day, like do something that makes you feel good, put on a song that makes you strut down the street, because you feel good. The brain's more able to accept like the reality that like of what is, rather than sort of because we have all these sort of defenses in the brain, these biases, you know, when we're trying to perceive the world. Actually, when we're feeling good, we're more able to go, like this is the situation, is okay, I can handle it. But we're able to take in the situation when we're feeling good, you know, and then the brain's then more able to sort of go, well, okay, what can I do about it? But if we're feeling really bad about ourselves, or like we're just not feeling good or whatever, bored or just not feeling good, then we're less likely to sort of be able to face a situation as it is. We're more likely to resist it, waste effort trying to change it, like just sort of our mind we're not going to take the full picture, like we're going to be biased in how we look at it to protect ourselves, you know. So yeah, feeling good, we're just more likely to make a proper assessment of the situation and go like, what can I do about it then, you know, rather than going, it should be this way, you know, I don't, you know, and just wasting energy, you know. So we put a real focus in the personal training. It's really simple, doing more things that make you feel good, because that is why we call exercise, because actually isn't the natural state for the brain. You have to put a bit of effort in to thinking that way, because the brain's just going to go very easily to just all the negatives, you know, a critical comment or, you know, just negative stuff. That's just like it takes no effort for the brain to go to.
What's the idea of the brain being like Velcro for negativity?
Yeah, I love that. I can't remember who said that.
Was it not you?
No.
Or take it, claim it.
Yeah,
might as well.
I can't remember who said it. Apologies, but it's a great saying. And it's so true. So the brain is like Velcro for the negatives and like Teflon for the positives. That's the natural state, you know. So using the physical sort of metaphor, like our natural resting state, you know, to not do it. We have to exercise ourselves by sort of raising our heart rate. So the brain, you have to exercise itself by putting effort in to concentrating on the positive. That's the exercise part, you know, until it gets sort of second nature. But like if we're not doing too well, if our brain fitness isn't great, then like we're going to have to sort of put some effort in to exercising it, to doing more things that make us feel good and concentrating on the positives.
So that's how you get brain fit.
Essentially in PT, that is it.
Yeah, focus on the positives.
Really, really straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I think we've just got into the flow here, but I think we're gonna wrap up, and there's plenty to get on with in the next episode.
There
but
is.
I was wanting to ask a little summary up. So first part of the summary is BrainFit. The reason it's called BrainFit is because it's for everyone. And then the second part, actually, for a wee takeaway, I thought you were mentioning there something that is really important, and it would be a nice takeaway that I want to take away, to be honest with you, of that thing of when something stressful happens and you have that immediate reaction and you want to react immediately, and that's your first, almost your reptilian brain wanting to react.
Yeah.
And then that, like, is it a few deep breaths that you take or something, just to let the prefrontal cortex kind of.
You can, or just wait. Just simply wait and don't make a decision. Just wait. When we can instead of reacting, we just wait until we're ready to respond. You know, I think that's a really not like, but that takes a lot of control. You know, and you're less likely to do that if you're. But just taking yourself out of the situation. Any strategy to just sort of wait for it to calm down. Yeah, definitely.
That's a great. We should do that every time, actually.
Yeah.
Wrap up with a little free hint and tip.
Takeaway.
Yeah, love it. We should hold up a sign.
Oh,
no, I think we are. I think we are allowed to say it. We're just going to have an 18 rating. We help you turn brain fucked into brain fit.
Yeah.
That's the.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say that?